Hey everybody, welcome back to Briscoe's Better Boating. We're on part 2 today of changing your own oil. On the last video you saw that we got all the hoses prepped. You can see now that I've got my bucket, I've got some zip ties so that my hose can be carried with it, and I've got my extra hose that we made for the 190 on the side. Today we're going to do the 190. So one thing I didn't say in the video yesterday that I noticed, that the alligator clips that this comes with, and the alligator clips for the power for the pump go directly to your battery. So it's a really nice setup. I've got a towel down just in case I have any spillage, but hopefully we're going to show you a clean towel at the end of this. So let me start by just unwinding my hoses, get them out, get them all ready. So there's my suck hose, and this is the one that's going to go down the dipstick. So you'll see that all the fittings that we talked about yesterday, I don't know if you can zoom in tight enough, let me bring it to you, but you can see they're Tefloned, and this is my garden hose fitting, so that's never going to come off of that. That's always going to stay with this piece. The only time that'll come off is when I go to the NXT, and I'll have the nipple that goes into the hose that comes off on that. And on our other end of our hose, we've got our cap that we're going to have. That's going to come out to do our filling, and we're going to keep that cap close by so that we don't drip any oil down. Okay? So the first things, we'll do our quick connect, get that all ready to go. And now with my hose, I want to know when I'm hitting the bottom of this oil line. So I'm going to take the dipstick and I'm going to measure from the end of my hose, and I'm going to take it all the way to where the dipstick bottoms out. So that's why I know where the bottom of the dipstick is sitting. And I'm going to add actually 2 inches. So I'm going to go, 1, 2. I don't have to have a tape for it. I just got to know that I want to be bottomed out, and I want to have a mark so I know where this hose is when it's bottomed out. So I'm going to take a piece of electrical tape, and I'm going to wrap it around this piece right here, and that will be my measurement of knowing when the tube is down deep enough. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is hook up the battery cables. Obviously, black to negative and red to positive. And we're good to go there. Now we're going to take our oil hose and we're going to stuff it down, and we're going to watch where our tape mark is. Here's our tape mark that we made for the length. I'm actually going to take that tape mark right to it. You could keep pushing it, but what's going to happen is it's going to curl up inside the bottom of the pan. So that's why it's important to know how far your dipstick's down, because the dipstick's designed to read from the bottom of the tank. So I'm just going to be, I'm going to leave about 1 inch showing from my tape line. And when it's time to turn the pump on, the switch goes the way you want the oil to flow. So if you look at this, this is the hose that's coming from the engine. So we want the oil going this way. So that's the way the switch is going to throw. If we throw the switch the other way, it's going to suck from the bucket and go back out. So obviously we don't want to do that. So let's throw the switch on. It takes a minute because it's a small line. And there she goes, she's sucking away. The oil's all sucked out, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take the dipstick, and she's all dried off, and we're going to stick it back down to make sure that we're all out of the oil. So we're going to drop the dipstick all the way down in, we pull it back out, take a look at it, and she's dry. Okay, so we know we got all the oil out of the bottom of the dipstick. So now it's time to pull the oil filter. What I like to do is take a bunch of paper towel, and we'll put it right underneath the oil filter, which is right here, if you zoom in. So the oil filter is right there. We're going to pack some paper towel there to catch any drippage. And there's a bunch of different tools you can use. I like this one. This is the one that fits right on the end of the oil filter. And all you do is put it right over the end of it, give it a little twist. Okay? And then once you can get it hand tight, loosen it. You can see some of the oil starting to spill right there. You get it off, tip it up right. Okay, now you can dump that oil and you're ready to put the new filter on. One really big thing to make sure of when you take the filter off is this gasket right here. A lot of times this rubber gasket, well, not a lot of times, but sometimes this rubber gasket comes off. You see how easy that comes off? And it stays stuck to the motor. You got to make sure you get that gasket with a filter, because if you put the new filter on and that gasket's still there, you're going to double them up and it's not going to make a seal, and that's when you blow oil all over the bottom of your boat. So very important, make sure when you take the filter off, you get that seal. If the seal's not on the filter, it's still stuck to the block. So go down there with your finger, feel for it, and get it off. When you put the new filter on, you're going to take some of this oil, just wet the top of the gasket before you put it back on, and that helps make a better seal. Okay? Once your filter is back on, you just want to hand tighten it as tight as you can make it with your hands. Don't put a wrench on it, because with vibration, the filter is going to tighten even more. And if you do put a wrench on it, it's just going to make a nightmare to get it off when it's time to change your oil again. Filter's on, everything's secure on that. Now I'm going to take off the cap for the oil fill, which is right on your valve cover. Put my filter in, and I like to use 1540. I'm in Florida, so we run a little bit hotter down here. Some boats recommend a straight 40. 1540 is always a good round, easy oil that I use all the time. I also use the same oil in my transmission. A lot of guys talk about the oil in the transmission that actually lubricates better than transmission fluid, and it goes in and out of gear a little bit smoother. So I also do the same thing here. Now this is a 351 Cleveland motor. Typically it's a 4 quart for the motor and then 1 quart for the filter, but I'm going to check it on the dipstick anyway. So I've got a gallon, and I'm going to dump that in. Once it's in, I'll check my dipstick, and then I'll start the motor to let the oil filter fill, check it again, and if I need to top it, I'll top it. There you go. Okay, so I've topped off all the oil, I've got the filter on, I've started the motor to cycle the oil through, which will fill the filter. So now I'm just going to put the dipstick back in, check my level, and I'm nice and high. So I hope that helps you guys, and it's a lot easier to change your own oil than to drag it out and put it on the trailer, take it to the dealer. It'll save you some money. I think in this whole thing I maybe have $45 in the filter and the oil. So there you go. I hope that helps you guys. Please share, subscribe, and share this with all your friends. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll keep them coming. TheWakeboardCoach.com is where you can find me. And my wife's in the background chirping something. What are you trying to say, my love?
I was going to say Briscoe's better boating.
Briscoe's better boating. See? Well, you did say it, so there you go. Thanks, everybody.